Wang Yibo has done it again, and this time, he's delivered what many are already calling the movie of the year. A stunning blend of emotional depth, thrilling action, and artistic precision, his latest film doesn't just entertain, it leaves a permanent mark. From the first frame to the last, this movie is a cinematic masterclass, and Wang Yibo proves that he's not just a superstar, but a true force of nature on screen. The buzz isn't just hype. It's real. And when you look closer, at the performances, the visuals, and the jaw-dropping behind-the-scenes moments, it becomes clear why this film stands far above the rest. From the very beginning, Wang Yibo captivates. His character enters the story not with words, but with a look so charged that the entire theater falls silent. No dramatic monologue. No flashy introduction. Just a presence so magnetic it demands attention. That quiet confidence is the foundation of the film, everything builds from it. His eyes tell stories that no script could capture. And that's where Yibo's power lies, not in shouting, but in subtlety. You feel every beat of his emotional journey, his silence, his restraint, his vulnerability, and it lingers long after the credits roll. The storyline is crafted with a perfect blend of suspense and heart. It twists and turns without feeling forced, always grounded in the very human choices of Yibo's character. There's a scene midway through the film that shattered expectations, a confrontation between Yibo and an old friend turned enemy. Instead of erupting into violence as expected, Yibo simply delivers one line, barely audible, yet laced with years of tension. It's spine-chilling. What most fans didn't know is that the line was improvised. Yibo felt the moment so deeply that he whispered a truth from his own life into the scene. The reaction from his co-star? 100% authentic. One of the most mind-blowing moments comes during a fast-paced chase scene through a crowded marketplace. The camera follows Wang Yibo sprinting at full speed, dodging stalls, leaping over obstacles, and weaving between real vendors. Here's the twist, it wasn't closed set. The production had planned a controlled shoot, but the area was unexpectedly flooded with tourists. Instead of stopping, Yibo told the crew, "Keep filming." What followed was an electrifying, one-take shot with real people reacting in real time. His adrenaline, the chaos, the energy, it all became part of the scene. The final version. A heart-pounding masterpiece that looks too good to be unplanned. Behind the scenes, the stories only get more impressive. During one emotionally intense night shoot, Yibo filmed a rain scene for over 6 hours straight without once stepping off set. He was soaked, freezing, and physically drained, but refused to stop. Between takes, he stood alone, head down, letting the rain wash over him as he stayed fully in character. The crew offered to reschedule. He declined. That kind of dedication can't be taught, it's raw commitment. And the result? A heartbreak scene that's already become iconic. No one cries like Yibo. His pain is silent, restrained, and absolutely soul-piercing. Then there's the rooftop monologue. A single-take emotional explosion delivered under the rising sun. What most don't know is that this scene wasn't even in the original script. It was added 2 days before filming wrapped. Yibo read the new lines once, sat in silence for 10 minutes, then stepped into position. When the director called action, no one expected what came next. He poured everything into that one take: anger, regret, love, loss. When it ended, the crew stood still, stunned. One camera operator admitted later that he forgot to breathe. No reshoots. No cuts. One take. Perfection. Yibo's physical performance is also something to marvel at. Every fight scene is choreographed down to the millisecond, but here's the twist: most of the stunts were his own. He trained for months in silence, learning new combat techniques, practicing night after night. There's one scene where he flips backward off a moving motorcycle into a roll before landing on his feet. No wires. No CGI. That was all him. The bruises were real. The gasp you hear from the background extras? Also real. They weren't acting, they were genuinely stunned. In quieter moments, the magic continues. There's a scene in which Yibo's character sits on a rooftop, watching the city lights, whispering a line from an old poem. That moment struck many viewers as strange but beautiful. What few know is that it was Yibo's idea. The poem came from his childhood journal, one he kept while traveling as a teenager. When the director asked if he could contribute anything personal to the character, Yibo shared the poem. That single line became the emotional center of the movie, symbolizing everything the character had lost, and everything he still hoped to find. One of the most beautiful behind-the-scenes moments wasn't even filmed for the movie. During a break between scenes, Yibo saw a young fan watching from a distance. Security kept her away, but he walked over himself, handed her a handwritten quote from the movie, and told her, "You remind me of why I do this." That quote later showed up on the movie's final poster. It wasn't part of a PR plan. It came from Yibo's heart, and it ended up being the soul of the entire film campaign. Critics have praised the cinematography, the pacing, the original score, but everyone agrees on one thing. Wang Yibo's performance is the reason this movie stands out in a crowded year of blockbusters. He doesn't just play a role, he becomes it. He carries the story not with spectacle, but with truth. Every gesture, every pause, every quiet moment speaks louder than words. This is a performance that will be studied, remembered, and talked about for years to come. This film isn't just a success, it's a statement. It declares that Wang Yibo is not just a leading man, but an artist at the top of his craft. His attention to detail, his emotional depth, his fearless approach to acting, all combine to create something unforgettable. This isn't just the best film of the year. It's a moment in cinema. One that fans will never forget, and one that proves Wang Yibo has not only arrived, he's rewriting what greatness looks like. The buzz around Wang Yibo's film hasn't died down, and for good reason. As more fans return to watch it a second or even third time, they're discovering even more subtle brilliance packed into every scene. The layers in his performance, the genius of the direction, and the secrets behind the camera all point to one undeniable truth. This film isn't just the best of the year, it's an unforgettable experience. And the deeper you look, the more you realize just how much passion, precision, and risk was poured into every frame. One moment that continues to live rent-free in viewers' minds is the underground train station sequence. At first glance, it's a thrilling escape scene. The tension, the dim lighting, the distant sound of approaching footsteps, it all builds toward what seems like a predictable chase. But then Wang Yibo, hiding in the shadows, locks eyes with a child across the platform. No words, just a gaze. And in that second, you see the entire weight of his character's morality collapse and rebuild. Viewers later learned that the child was a last-minute addition, originally an extra walking past, until Yibo noticed him during rehearsals and suggested using the moment as a mirror of innocence. The director trusted him, and it became one of the film's most emotional pivots. And who could forget the midnight confession scene? The city lights reflecting in the window, soft music playing low, and Wang Yibo's voice trembling not from fear, but raw vulnerability. The scene feels intimate, fragile. The lighting crew later revealed that the entire apartment was lit using only one handheld lantern, carefully rotated to capture the natural glow in Yibo's eyes. What's more surprising? The entire monologue wasn't shot multiple times. The take used in the movie was the first and only one. Yibo had asked for silence on set, and once the camera rolled, he poured out his lines so truthfully that the sound crew didn't cut even a second. When the scene ended, no one spoke. Everyone knew they had just captured magic. Behind the scenes, there were moments that even the cast couldn't believe. During one night shoot in a remote village, the weather turned violently cold, with wind strong enough to shut down the lights. Most of the crew headed to the vans for safety, but Yibo stayed behind, standing in full costume beneath the storm. He didn't want to break the atmosphere. "Let the storm be part of it," he said. That night's footage, captured using only backup gear and natural sound, ended up being used for a crucial transition in the film, and it looks so hauntingly real because it was real. Then there's the alley fight, already being called one of the best choreographed action scenes in recent cinema. But what fans missed is the tiny flicker of hesitation on Yibo's face just before the first punch. It's not weakness, it's character psychology. Yibo worked with the writers to build a past into every fight, a reason behind every move. In that flicker, you realize, his character isn't fighting to win, he's fighting to survive. And yet, the choreography is so crisp, so brutal, and so beautifully controlled that it feels like a dance of desperation. What's mind-blowing is that the scene was rehearsed only twice. On the third run, cameras rolling, Yibo slipped on gravel mid-spin, but instead of cutting, he turned the stumble into a roll, slammed into a wall, and kept going. That raw edge made it into the final cut, and gave the scene its unexpected realism. In another heart-wrenching sequence, Yibo's character receives devastating news while sitting in a silent car. No tears. No screams. Just stillness. But his hands tremble, his jaw tightens, and his breath becomes ragged. It's the kind of acting that can't be taught. When asked how he prepared for that moment, Yibo reportedly told the director, "I thought of someone I lost." That scene became one of the film's quietest and most haunting. On set, Wang Yibo's dedication inspired even veteran crew members. One assistant camera operator shared that Yibo often arrived early, long before call time, and stayed behind after wrap, walking alone through the sets. Not rehearsing. Just living in the space. He wanted to feel like his character even when the cameras weren't rolling, the crew member said. That energy is what made every scene feel authentic. Whether he was bleeding in a dark corridor or smiling through tears in a farewell scene, Yibo didn't just play the role. He was the role. What fans may not have realized is how much improvisation helped shape the film. In one rooftop scene, originally meant to be a quick phone call, Yibo suddenly set the phone down and spoke directly to the wind, an unscripted move that stunned the crew. He whispered, "If you can hear me, I'm sorry," and the line cut deep. It stayed. In post-production, the sound team amplified the wind slightly, making it feel like a ghost was listening. All of these hidden layers, these choices, these risks, they're why this movie stands out. It's not just about beautiful shots or perfect edits. It's about feeling. It's about truth. And no one brings truth to the screen like Wang Yibo. His instincts, his emotion, and his refusal to settle for anything less than real have created a cinematic gem. One that fans won't stop talking about. One that's already carved a permanent place in film history.